Oh my gosh. What a day. Okay, I know there's some other things going on in the world. Okay, I get that. They're freeing hostages over in the Middle East. This Trump guy has got something going on at the White House today. But listen, Mark Puttenvink is joining us as he does every Monday morning. Patriot Training Systems. All right. I know those other things have some, some
Very
weight. Yeah, a little bit. But compared to you being on, I just,
shrinks.
yeah. What's going on, brother? How are you?
I'm all right, man. Yeah, just shoveled out the cars, went to the store, and got some provisions.
Provisions. Okay, good.
Yeah.
And your hernia is bothering you a little bit, or
A little bit, yeah. I hope it's just good morning, Bill.
look at him. Look at that sexy bugger.
Yeah. It's probably freezing out there in Chicago. Yeah, it's acting up a little. I don't know. It could be just who knows. So going to see the doc, see what's up.
Yeah. I've got my little computer on here. We've got the front door of the White House. So we're getting ready for all the inauguration stuff.
Yeah.
Well, that's right. Happy Martin Luther King Day
Martin
today.
Luther King Day.
That's right. That's right.
Yep. MLK Day.
And Trump is saying that he's going to disclose all the information on RFK, JFK, and MLK.
Yeah.
Once he becomes.
That's weird, right? RFK, JFK.
Yeah. I saw that written down. I saw the same thing. Yeah. I know. I guess at the what do they call it? The Capital One Center there in Washington, they got a rally after, and they've got a little. They were showing they got a little desk for him, and he's got all these things he's going to sign into law.
About 100, I think.
Yeah. It's a classic.
Well, I mean, that's what they do. Biden did the same thing.
Oh, is that right? I don't know.
Yeah, well, he undid all the border stuff and everything like that. Yeah.
Okay, so your opinion on all these pardons. I mean, part of the Constitution is the president is allowed to pardon people who, and I read today, it was specifically for people who have committed crimes against the U.S., right? Mm-hmm. That's what it was.
Right. But, well, I don't know if you saw the news, but he on the way out the door, preemptive pardons for Fauci.
I know.
So
Milley and Cheney, right?
Yeah. So the question is this: what did these guys do?
I know. Because if they didn't do anything, it's almost like embarrassing to them. If they really didn't do anything, like why are you I'd be embarrassed. Like, why are you pardoning me? I didn't do anything.
I wonder. I don't know. I got to plead ignorance on the whole pardoning. But can you do that? Can you preempt? That's like saying, Tom, I'm going to preempt to pardon you. Go do what you want, man. Nothing's going to happen.
Well, I did read it because I had the same question. The president is allowed to do that. He can't pardon them for any future crimes that they may commit.
What about? I don't
anything
know.
For the past. Yeah, I know.
It's just, it's exhausting.
Really. Okay, here's one of my big things too. So obviously I was a little busy on Saturday night. Went down to the Ranger game, did some events down there. Was hanging out with the great Stefan Matteau and Jackie from the New York Rangers. Fantastic people, both of them. But I had some time on my hands this weekend, and I did some research, like TikTok.
Yeah.
Okay. So Chinese, we borrow only Japan do we borrow more money from than China. I think it's close to $800 billion we owe them. Okay. They own about 400,000 acres of land here in the U.S. Some of it was just right next to military bases. Mm-hmm. And we import about $800 billion a year in products from them, including chips for cars and computers and all that stuff. Right. But somehow we're worried about TikTok. Is there a reason? Am I missing something?
Well, I mean, no. So the thought is that TikTok, it's owned by a Chinese company. There is no Chinese company. It's all tied back to CCP. But here's the thing. I mean, they have information on us through other sources other than TikTok.
Well, yeah, and so does our own government. I mean, we're worried about
Yeah. And we all know that you could say something and 30 seconds later it's showing up on your Facebook as an ad.
Yeah.
So
I think, like we both agree, anybody that believes they have security now or secret, it's gone.
No.
Right. Yeah.
Yeah. It's a very transparent world we live in right now.
Yeah. So okay, there's always some money trail, something we're missing. Like, why is our government officials so worried about TikTok all of a sudden?
Yeah, it just it doesn't make sense. Why they're just picking on TikTok when they allowed all this other censorship and stuff to go on with Zuckerberg, with Instagram, with Facebook. Yeah. It's selective prosecution for sure.
I know. It's so funny because I know you've been a follower better than I have of politics in general for longer than I have. But now, because I'm just starting now, okay, I need to get educated here. It's almost amazing. Like, it's like every time you turn around, it's like all the stuff you hear about over in California now, with the mayor and
Right.
Newsom, and Newsom's got like a $9 million home. Like,
Yeah. Well, so the Biden family. All right, let's just talk about that for 30
yeah,
seconds.
yeah.
Where did all that money come from?
Oh, I know, right?
You know, we all know where it came
Yeah.
from, and yet mainstream media, the legacy media people. I was watching something this morning between. It's amazing what goes on. James Comer, who's a Republican, and Jamie Raskin, who's a really progressive liberal Democrat, arguing, and Comer saying, "Where'd the money come from?" And Raskin's like trying to defend it, and it's indefensible because we all know.
Yeah.
I mean, the guy's, you know.
Well, it kind of goes to the whole insider trading thing, right? They're allowed. Now, I was researching that more. They have a thing called the Stock Act, STOCK. They've started that, I think, in 2012. So there's rules like they're supposed to, within 45 days, if they make any kind of a purchase or sell any stock, they need to disclose that.
Disclose it, yeah.
And the penalties are so minor. And bottom line is nobody's doing it because the people that are supposed to watch over them to report it are the same people that are doing the same thing.
You know, it's the wolf guarding the chicken.
I know. It's just kind of funny. I don't know. Yeah. Here's a question for you. Here's William Haynes. Tell me your thoughts on the Alberta Premier taking her stance. I didn't see that. Like as far as what, getting rid of Trudeau. So he'll obviously write us back. So the Rangers are playing better now.
Yeah, I don't. You know, I wanted to talk to you today about Rempe.
Yeah.
And the fight he had last night. You know, I'm a little concerned. The reason is he didn't jump Wi-Fi, but he kind of went at him, and then he stopped. He paused to allow him to get into the fight. And I'm like, once you start, you don't.
Yeah, I know.
But I'm wondering if that's because the league's got into his head now.
No question.
That's
I think so.
Yeah.
I think 100%. He's thinking, oh God, I got to be careful here, you know, because now.
And I wonder also, you know, you would know better than I, obviously, but do you think he just he's a nice kid and he's just really not nasty?
Oh, totally. When I've met him, and it's just a brief, I've talked to him for 1 minute at a golf tournament, and he seems like that, almost like that.
All shucks kid.
Yeah. Like he was looking at me like he was a kind of shy kind of guy. That it wasn't like he's 10 feet taller than I am. It wasn't like he was intimidated.
But I mean, you've been around forever, a lot of legitimate enforcers. I mean, off the ice, nobody acts like that. But once you're on the ice, you're a different persona. And it just seems, I don't know, but I also really think that the league has really screwed this kid over.
Well, they don't want the stuff that he was doing before. They do not want in the league.
No, don't want it.
No question. Right. Yeah. Okay. William Haynes, what we got going here? No, she's against tariffs on Alberta oil to the U.S. Oh, yeah. That whole thing, that's all going to get ironed out, though. I mean, Trump's a master negotiator, right? Mm-hmm. Apparently, one of the things he's going to sign into law right away is it's going to be the Gulf of America from now on. Gulf of Mexico.
Kind of makes sense.
And apparently, they're saying that's what he's going to do. Like once he gets signed, you got to.
I think there is a business reason for it. I forget. I did read something. I can't recall what it was.
You know, I think what I like to about it is like, why are we honoring some other country?
Yeah,
like it's like
especially the way.
It's
going to be really. I mean, you know, the deportations and stuff. Certainly, anybody that commits a criminal has to go.
Yeah,
has to go. Yeah. As far as the other people, look, they're here. We need to find a way. To make it so that they can become a citizen.
But one of the things he's supposed to get signed law is, I can't remember what they call it, the birth thing, where if a child is born here, now the family gets to stay here as well. Because
they call them anchor babies, and they've been doing this for time immemorial, where they go from Tijuana right into San Diego, give birth, and then there's natural birthright. So,
I'm with you. Listen, if they're coming in, all these gang members, and again, we've read this stuff. We watch Sean Ryan and everything, where they're talking about to get 1,500 Al Qaeda members, like that kind of stuff. I mean, it's obvious that's
for national security and also local security. We really need to get rid of the criminals. I mean, just that alone, and then we can talk about everything else after that. I mean, they're here.
Well, here's my thought too, and I'm just throwing this out there. Mm-hmm. So the fires in California. So there's been a lot of talk about Al Qaeda members coming into the U.S. through the southern border. 2025 is a year where they're going to get revenge for the killing of Osama bin Laden, and they've got a whole series of events thereafter, major cities. So pretty easy if they do any homework whatsoever. They see no water there, or not enough water in Southern California. High winds coming in, all the debris under the trees and everything just going to catch fire. If you want to commit a terrorist act,
pretty easy.
Get a Bic lighter, for God's sakes, and
yeah.
Wow.
I don't know. That it's a possibility for sure.
Yeah.
But you I think you sent me actually the one from 1961 with the wildfire. Yeah. So probably tend to believe that it was not a natural disaster, because there is some video of one of the power lines sparking and then the fire starting. The bottom line is no one's coming to help us.
Oh, yes. And I agree with you. That should be the common theme we have from now on.
We're on our own.
Yeah, we should pump that. You know what? You're dead on with that. We need to pump that through all the other stuff, Republican and Democrat. We need to take care of ourselves.
It's unfortunate that we, for a long time, put so much faith in the government when we are the government, right? So, it's not some magical entity that's all-knowing and all-powerful like Oz, and it is like Oz, because behind a curtain is really just something.
Well, you're right. If you turn the clock back, when the founding fathers started this country, this is not the way they designed it to be.
No, not at all.
And we're the problem. We've allowed them to now convince us that they're going to come in and save the day. Governor Hochul is going to put police officers in the subway, all this kind of stuff.
Well, let's talk about that for a minute. She put two police officers on a train, but a train's 7 cars long.
Yeah.
So it's more for show. But the forefathers, and this is, you see the schedule breaks in Congress.
Yeah.
You know why they were scheduling at certain points of the year?
Right.
Particularly harvest, because you went and legislated, then you had to go back to harvest.
Right.
And first and foremost, I don't think that's the way it is now.
Oh God, yeah.
And it should be a year-round job like any other job.
Oh yeah.
There's certainly, like term limits, which will never happen. Maybe it will under Trump. I don't know.
Yeah. Funny scene. Sorry to interrupt you. Funny scene. Trump and Biden both got in a limo together now. Imagine that. Like, he's doing all this stuff to kind of make it harder for Trump to do his job, and now they got to get in a limo.
Biden, he probably thinks they're going to see a movie or something.
I like where Biden said, "I'm not going anywhere," and I'm thinking, well, because he can't find anywhere. He doesn't know where it is.
Hunter's paintings apparently were lost in the Great Fire.
Oh yes, I saw that.
Yeah.
Yes. Yeah. The nude paintings of himself.
What a shame.
I know. We need to restore masculinity to the military. Yeah, I know.
Well, that's what Pete's all about, and it's not even so much. And I agree to a certain extent. It's not. It's just meritocracy. There's standards that have to be met, and what people are like. So the Democrats that are losing their minds over that women. We lowered the standards for certain things in the military. There's men that can't meet that standard.
Oh yeah. Oh totally.
You look at Navy SEALs. They have a 70% attrition rate day one. 70% of the guys go ring the bell.
Yeah.
It's and that's what it's meant to be, the world's best fighting force. And you can't dumb that down and make it so that everybody can become a SEAL or a Green Beret.
Well, they have been dumbing it down, but yeah. A great video I saw too, where a kid came in. Guy was telling a story, but a kid came in, wanted to be a Navy SEAL. So they said, okay, you need to be able to swim. I don't know, it was like 500 laps or whatever. I don't know.
It is, yeah.
The kid couldn't swim, so he jumped in the pool, went to the bottom, walked to one end, walked back to the other end, got up out of the water, was just couldn't. And the guy says, "What are you doing?" He says, "I can't swim, but I want to be a Navy SEAL." And the guy goes, "All right, we'll teach you to swim." Like, it was just pretty cool, that mentality, right? That
and that's pretty much Bill Brown's story.
Yeah.
Bill went into the Navy to become an electrician, went to basic training, had one of his instructors was all over him. He found out they had CQT or SQT, SEAL qual training for 4 hours a morning. He figured, hey, it's a great way to get away from that dude. And he just, nailed it on all the physical stuff except swimming.
Right.
And somebody took notice of him and said, we'll teach you how to swim, and the rest is history.
Sure. Yeah. That'd be like me and Ted Sater getting in a limo together.
Yeah, Tom would get out. I don't know about Sater.
Oh, that's funny. I do the best of the Green Berets. Yeah, they're pretty cool too. Yes. Yeah. It is funny, now that it seems we're constantly evolving, right? Trying to make ourselves better all the time. And I think back, there was one scene, we're in a preseason game and we're at the Garden, and Ted Sater was his first year coaching. And I've been captain, assistant captain, players player, all this stuff. And we're playing Philly at the Garden. And I'll never forget, Steve Patrick was on the end of the bench. And Ted pulls me over, and he's got that thing where he's standing on the bench, one knee up on the boards. And he goes, I can't remember if he told me, I want you to go out there and fight Holmgren or something like that. And he says, or have you lost that too? Like kind of like make it seem like I've lost everything. And I remember Steve Patrick's looking at me, waiting for my reaction. And I was so shocked to hear it because I'm thinking, lost what? What are you talking about? I think back about it now. I should have grabbed him by the collar and threw him on the friggin' ice. Just that's the one part you look back at that kind of stuff. I allowed somebody, just because they were a friggin' hockey coach, I allowed somebody to talk to me like that.
Well, that was like, I think I told you this story about Kevin McClellan. Was at the end of his career, he was in the American League. And every time he would touch the puck, I don't know who was coaching, get rid of it, get rid of it, get rid of it.
Oh.
And he came back to the bench, says, you tell me that one more time, I'm going to knock you out.
He was tough, dude. He was funny. Okay, what's our boy William Hayes got to say here? What is it? No disrespect, but they look into the training and duties of a Green Beret. No, listen, we have total, I guess we talked about Navy SEALs a lot more, William, because I think we know more. But listen, total respect for everybody, yeah.
Yeah, anybody in the military.
Yeah.
I don't care if you're a mechanic. It's all part of the mission. Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, Green Beret, yeah. I mean, and their mission's a little bit different. Green Beret is more. They have to not infiltrate, but kind of get into the community, and they have to speak different languages.
Right.
And they, where SEALs, it's just offensive mission specific. Yeah.
Man. Gillies did. Oh yeah, Danny Anderson. I told you the story. We had Clark Gillies on. He talked about throwing Sater across the room up in Buffalo. Yeah, love to see that. Yeah. Love to see that. It's funny. I watched a couple of games this weekend. Man, I had a lot of time on my hands. Island Ranger games, and Gillies was out there, and him and Bubba were funny, right? Because the two of them just, they kind of, I guess, equaled each other out. Where the two monsters out there, and
they're big boys. Yeah. LA, all the football this weekend.
Yeah. I was a huge Detroit Lions fan. And I like Dan Campbell, but did you see him after the game with the crying and everything?
Yeah, that I don't go for that.
Yeah. I can see, and I don't know if it's like what scares me a little bit, is he doing it on purpose? Is this legitimately that?
Either way, it's a bad look.
I know. You're a head coach of an NFL team, yeah.
I mean, it's part of the thing. I mean, you're going to lose. I mean, it happens. I mean, you gotta.
And they screwed up there. They had 12 men on the field, and he did not call a timeout there. Remember, like 4th and goal or something.
My buddy Jeff, who played football at the University of Texas El Paso, they had a play. They can only use it once a year, where they'd be lining up like on a goal line stance, and the coach would start screaming, 12 guys, 12 guys. And one guy would start running off, but they really only had 11. That guy running off, and boom, right there.
Oh, nice.
Play, right? Yeah.
That's cool. Very cool.
But anyhow, KC, I guess a little controversy about the refereeing.
I know. Well, especially the way Jared Goff from Detroit got drilled with he threw an interception. The guy was going to go into a pick six, and he got blocked, and the guy speared him right in the freaking chin.
Man, I didn't realize. I got to plead ignorance. I like football. I'm not. But Lamar Jackson, what an athlete. Oh, my God.
Yeah.
And even the kid on Houston. CJ Stroud, is that his name?
Yeah.
Wow. And he was hurt, and he was still running the ball. He wasn't.
Well, the Washington quarterback, too, that young kid, man, he's good, too, man.
These guys aren't – it's changed. I mean, they're tremendous athletes back
then. And they're not allowed to intimidate those guys the same way they used to intimidate the young players, right? I mean,
I hate to say it, and we'll talk about it because it's the truth. There used to be a thought that black quarterbacks weren't intelligent enough to be quarterbacks.
Yeah.
And it was, of course, just nonsense.
Yep.
But now you see the athleticism is incredible.
And to your point about intelligence, too, the decision-making out there, too. Like they play those run-pass option plays. They've got to decide,
it used to be a little bit different.
Yeah. All right. So we have all this pomp and circumstance, the limousines, all the security, probably spending millions and millions of dollars for this. I'm like, I don't know.
I agree. Yeah. We have lost sight of that they're serving us.
Yeah, totally. Well, the Governor Hochul there, the painted lady, we'll call her the painted lady from now on. She's spending like $80 million to fix the stairs at the Capitol building in Albany.
Yeah.
It's like, what?
Yeah, well, her husband, isn't it like, so they're going to spend $1 billion something for the new stadium in Buffalo?
Yeah.
And isn't it her husband magically got the concession contract?
Yeah. Oh, yeah. That's right.
I mean, and that's the stuff that, like, man, if you're like most of us, we're all struggling to get by with inflation.
Oh, yeah.
And you see that and you're just like, go F yourself, man.
Really. I know. And now it's gotten to the point, we both talked about this, where they're so arrogant about it now, they don't even try to hide it. Yeah.
They don't even care.
Yeah, they know there's a news cycle. Like, you think about the news cycle. So a few months ago, we had the hurricanes down in Asheville, South Carolina. Now, if you show videos there now, they're out in the streets. They're living
same thing. Nothing's got better for them. Yeah.
Right. So now it moves on to New Orleans with the car, crashing through the people. That story's gone. Right.
3 days.
3-day cycle. Now we've got the fires. Now the fire thing's still going on, but it's not what it was when it first started. So now we have the inauguration. That's be the big thing. And so, yeah.
It's interesting to watch legacy media, CNN, the rest of them. I don't think they got the memo yet. They're still going on with the same point of view. And it's not working. I know.
Well, that's the thing too. You hear all the reports anyways, that they're losing viewership, and then they just keep doing the same thing. Right. Well, I've gotten away from watching The View. I thought it was entertaining for a few days there. And I thought, I can't keep doing this.
It's a clown show.
But when the fires happen in LA, Whoopi goes, "Oh, that's nature, Mother Nature. Like, what are you talking about? What's the problem?" Oh God! How about all the stuff they got on the mayor there too? Like all the stuff from the past, and she was part of some.
Well,
going to
I
Cuba.
don't know if you noticed, but the mayor of Oakland, who decimated that city. I mean, it's so bad that they told hospital workers in the city of Oakland in the daytime, do not go out for lunch. Stay in the building because the crime is so bad. She's looking at possibly close to 100 years in jail for bribery.
Oh, is that right?
He was federally indicted. Yeah.
I thought maybe it was San Francisco. It was another mayor, and they did a reporter was asking him questions, and beside the mayor was this guy he had for some position on his cabinet, and he had been in jail for 2 years for bank robbery, I think it was, and he had the guy in charge of the finances.
Perfect.
But it's funny because when the reporters ask the question, like he's obviously saying it weird, like this is wrong.
Yeah.
And they're up there on stage. And we're like, well, what are you talking about? Why is this wrong? It's hilarious.
No, it's pretty, you just look at, Mayor Adams, whether you love him or don't, he's under federal indictment.
Yeah.
Now this one in Oakland.
It just, LA. Yeah. Oh yeah. LA, and those are the ones, those are the ones that's just getting caught. I mean, all the rest.
Yeah, exactly.
Don't get caught.
Yeah.
Oh, funny stuff. Nice stuff. Oh God. I find it fascinating here. I'm watching Trump walk in and everything like that. It's just, you know what? Oh, we never really talked about this. You know, one thing I thought was hilarious. This was like a story from 2 months ago, whatever, where all Trump's cronies were saying, listen, we need to apologize. We were trying to hide his cognitive weakness.
Biden, you mean? Biden.
Yeah, Biden. I'm sorry. Yes.
Yeah.
And I'm thinking, who are you hiding it from? Like, why are you saying that? Because you didn't hide it from anybody. Everybody saw it.
That's a bold-faced lie, because if we go back to the primaries in 2020, it was apparent then he was shot when he was just on the dais in front of 8, 9 people up there, and he'd just go, "Well, I'm out of time." Like he'd lose his train of thought and just go, "I'm out of time."
And he always goes, "Oh, whatever." Yeah.
Yeah.
But in fact, they're trying to say, "Oh, we lied to you. We tried to hide it." Or it wasn't even tried to hide it. They said we did hide it. I'm going, you didn't hide it from anybody.
Yeah, pretty hard to hide when he's falling downstairs, falling off his bike. Same repeat the line.
When they put it to, some people put it to music when he's going up the stairs onto the plane. Yeah. Oh God, he keeps on falling. Oh,
well, and then like the few press conference he would do, he'd have a sheet in front of him and go,
yeah. Same thing with Kamala there. What do they call it? The word salad with her?
Oh, she's a beauty. She is a beauty.
Oh, yeah. It was funny too. They had one where they were talking about Iran, and they had a video of Trump getting asked a question that asked Kamala the same thing. And they asked Kamala, she said, "Don't. We've been very clear. Don't." And then they have Trump come on. He says, "I'm going to bomb the shit out of him." It's just like,
yeah. All hell's going to break loose.
Oh, funny stuff. Do you think? Okay, now I want to be careful here. I want to be sensitive. So the whole Israeli Hamas, hostage turnover, all that kind of stuff. I'm very happy for the families, the three Israeli families with their loved ones come back. It's fantastic. It's great. I looked it up. Do you know we have a child go missing every 40 seconds here in the United States? 800,000 kids a year. They say that 500,000 a year never are found. Yeah. And again, I want to be careful because it's great that those three families, but
absolutely, if you excuse me, there's a book written by Lieutenant David Grossman, or Grossman, who was of West Point. It's called On Killing, and he goes through the psychology of battle and all that. But what he talks about is just to that point. So let's say all these things are horrible, like what happened in New Orleans was horrible. I think there were 15 lives lost. But somehow it just dominates the news cycle because obviously the way it happened and people are just innocently standing around on the sidewalk.
Right.
But that's a blip compared to what goes on every day in the country.
I know. Because you think about that, you're right. It just boils down to from everybody, whether it's Fox News or CNN, they are publicly traded companies designed to make money for their stockholders, right? That's what they are. Yeah. So to make money, they need to have dramatic stories that they could sell advertising for those dramatic stories. So having a story of another child going missing every 40 seconds, it happens so much. It's like, oh, well, it's not even a story anymore, right?
The old saying was, if it bleeds, it reads.
Yeah, I know.
And, there's 300 and some odd thousand children missing that came across the border, and it's never spoke to.
I know.
And then you get the AOCs of the world who are up in arms over not allowing men to compete in female sports. Somehow that's an affront to women. I'm not sure how that works.
Yeah, and,
then she says, she says some things. She said there are literally women bleeding in parking lots all over the nation because they can't get access to an abortion. And no one says to her, "Can we see the data on that, please?"
I know. Yeah, I know, right? And that you speak about the 300,000, the woman from it's kind of cute too. The woman from North Dakota. What's her role? What's she?
Christy Nome.
Christy Nome. She was good. Yeah, she's very
sharp.
They're
all good.
Yeah.
Sam Bondi. Christy Nome. Pete was good. Was great. You just it's so illustrative of the separation between.
Yeah,
the Democrats and Republicans.
She was good. What's the girl's name from North Dakota? What's her name? The woman?
Christy Nome.
She was good when somebody asked her a question about something about immigration, and she says, "Well, we need to focus on the 300,000 kids that have gone missing." And really, whoever was asking the questions was pissed because that wasn't where he wanted to go. But it was almost like you can't avoid that now, right?
Well, and you and I've talked about this, but just look at Pete. I'm a little biased because
Yeah.
No,
you guys make out together. Yeah,
we do. Yeah.
Yeah.
He's a good-looking guy.
He's a pretty man. Oh, he is a pretty man.
But again, so we get Richard Blumenthal basically interrogating. Oh, there's a film.
There you go.
Interrogating him. Richard Blumenthal, who was caught multiple times with stolen valor, saying he served in Vietnam. Right. When he didn't, he had 5 deferments. He was a reserve. I give him all credit in the world. You were in reserves. You still serve your country.
Yeah, just say that.
Like Vietnam is like if you were there, you kind of remember.
Yeah, I know.
It's like, geez, was I there or was I? And then you get him, and again, it's like the land of the misfit toys.
Yeah.
Elizabeth Warren pressuring Pete.
Who's the one woman? Who's the one woman that she's Asian, and she's kind of like the little mole kind of thing?
She's the senator from Hawaii.
Oh God.
Moreno, who starts off there. Have you ever been accused for sexual assault?
She says, I ask everybody, and it's like, and what do you think? Like, she already knows. The thing is, she already knows the answer. So why is she asking?
Again, Tom, this is what's so stark. The contrast between people, and I'm not a Republican, Democrat. I'm an independent. I want to vote for the best person. But if you just look at it on its face value, it's a clown show against people that. You got to think, like, can you imagine what they're thinking in their head going, I can't believe they just asked me that. Are you nuts?
Like, and going on and on about cheating on your wife and everything like that. It's almost like, I wish Pete, and Pete couldn't do this, but I wish he could just turn and said, Listen,
Bill Clinton.
like
Bill
you
Clinton.
cheat on your wife with little boys or something like that,
Or my replies would have just been Bill Clinton. Bill Clinton. Bill
Yeah,
Clinton.
I know. Yeah. That argument, that's like such. I'm not saying it's right, but especially the people in politics, the military, or excuse me, the politics, the movie stars, all that stuff, they're all cheating. And this doesn't make it right.
Listen,
but yeah.
You'd be pretty hard pressed to find anybody on the planet who hasn't committed a sin.
Oh, totally.
Yeah, I mean, come on, we're human.
Did you see Saturday Night Live this past week? Couldn't believe the sketches they did about MSM.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I didn't see it, Barry, but I watched some of that on YouTube. Now, it's funny. They're doing the Zuckerberg. All of a sudden now they're pro-Trump.
Oh,
they're
yeah.
After Rachel Maddow and all the rest of the clients.
Yeah. Isn't that true? I didn't see it. I saw the pictures of it. I got to look back at that too, because the Rachel Maddow thing, I think it'd be funny.
I got to be careful with my hand job. By the way, to Barry's credit, his Rink of Dreams Hall of Fame, he has a new category now for veterans, and the first nominee is Bill Brown.
Oh, is that right?
Yeah, Barry made an announcement yesterday. Yeah.
Very cool. Very
cool.
cool.
Bill's work to help veterans.
Very cool. That's great. That's fantastic. Mission focused. Never forget that saying. Mission focused. Got it. You know what? And I've learned, and I know, and you do this as well. I've learned the impact you can have on other people. I was at the Garden on Saturday night. We get in the elevator, and they always have those people sitting in the chair, pushing the button all night. People are saying, level 5, level 6. And I realized nobody ever talks to this person. So we get in, and I'm going up to make some presentation, in between pairs, whatever. And this woman's sitting there, just a cute black woman. Didn't matter, black, white. That's described. She's black. I go, you got a fantastic smile. And she just was like, like I just like giving her like $1 million or something like that. It was just, I thought it was interesting.
All it takes. Yeah, people. Unfortunately, some people go through life without anybody saying
that. I know, right?
It's not that hard. And you know what makes you feel good too.
Oh, it was unbelievable. I got off. I was all fired up because you realize,
but it's very true. Yeah,
very true. So it is funny watching. So now they're all coming into the rotunda or whatever they're at. Mm-hmm. And it's just, they're all dressed. It's on both sides. It's particularly a bunch of old guys with white hair, all parted from left to right or wherever it is. Oh, they all got the dark suits. It's either a blue tie or a red tie. So red tie is more like a power tie. Is that?
Well, it's also it's the Republican color.
There you go.
And it is refreshing to see. Again, we look at Pete, Kristi Noem, Pam. These are all younger people. Yeah. We're not getting Chuck Schumer, who's 170 years old and been around forever. We're not getting Joe Biden, who's, been in politics for 50 years. We're getting people that have not been in politics, like Pete.
So two things. I'll tell you, they get Trump's. He's got some hot women too.
Yeah, and they're all very bright. I mean,
I know.
Alina Habba, his attorney, she's really smart and she's really attractive. And and again, being attractive or not doesn't really matter, but it does. It gives you a stark contrast.
Oh, I mean, well, that's what it is. I'm looking at Bezos with his girl. What's her name? Sanchez or whatever it is.
Oh yeah.
Laura Sanchez.
Better not stand too close to the fire.
I know, get some work done on that.
Yeah, man.
Which I'm thinking, like, okay, if you're Bezos, I get it that she's hot with all the makeup and the fake boobs and all that, but you could get some younger girl. You don't have to have. Why put up with all that?
I mean, maybe that's what he wants, and good for him too. I mean, there's a nerd that made it.
Yeah, sure. Yeah, I know. Oh yeah, you got to admire from that end, right? Can't make all good decisions. Didn't he just send up a rocket too there?
Yeah, I think he's in this now, and that's another thing someone was pointing out. So SpaceX, which is Elon Musk, right? Yeah. Has spent $10 billion on this latest project. NASA spends like $100 billion and gets less results. Right. Proving again, government is not the answer. Totally. It's the problem because you have layer after layer after layer of bureaucracy, and that's how you get the $400 hammer.
All right, Bill Clinton's coming in now with Hillary. Man, Hillary looks like she's just a miserable person.
Bad day for her.
Isn't every day a bad day? Like when she gets
How about him? Imagine have to wake up next to that.
Oh, I know. They can't sleep in the same bed, do they?
God. I don't even know if they live in the same house.
I know. Imagine that poor. I feel bad, right? Because remember when she was running? Like there's a couple times she went to get in the limo and she was falling down. And
almost took a digger. Yeah.
Oh, God. Wow. What do you think? It's awful. Can't. I just think.
Yeah, I could go somewhere with that, but I won't. Yeah.
There's the cool. I like George Bush and his wife. Like she's sweet. What's George Bush's wife?
I
Laura.
forgot her name.
Laura Bush.
The grandma was Barbara Bush, and then
I think it's Laura. Wasn't it Laura Bush?
Laura Bush. Yeah.
She looks like a really
Classy
sweet
woman.
person. Yes.
Yeah.
As much as he was kind of goofy, he'd be a guy you want to hang out and have a beer with, though, right?
A little bit dopey. Yeah.
Yeah. He'd be the goofy guy in the corner, kind of make fun of him.
Nuclear.
Yeah. Remember when he was some other country and some guy was throwing shoes at him?
I was just going to say that the guy throwing the shoe at him, and he was kind of
he
flipped it real good.
He was kind of fired, like his eyes lit up. He said, "Yeah, this is cool. Come on, let's go."
Yeah.
Oh
cool.
God.
Well, he was a fighter. He was a fighter pilot, right? Wasn't he?
Oh yes,
his dad. Was his who?
Yes, well, the father definitely, because the father had the arm thing too, right? His arm was messed up.
No, that was.
McCain.
No.
Yes, you're right. I know who you mean too.
He was a Republican. I can't recall his name.
He was with Sarah Palin too. He ran with Sarah Palin, right?
Correct. Yeah. Now Duguay's running with her.
Our boy Duke's out here has got some health issues. I don't know what's going on. Yeah.
That's not good to hear.
Yeah. And he's really, yeah. Oh God, it is funny. We would sit. It'd be more funny to sit instead of analyzing a hockey game, to sit and analyze, like go back years over, like press conferences of military, of government officials making speeches and everything. How about the what's our girl, the press secretary, Karen?
Maureen Jean-Pierre.
Yeah. So her last press conference, it was when they were making the deal for the ceasefire, and the expert was there, but she wouldn't let him talk because it was her last press conference.
John Kirby.
Yeah, and she wanted to make it her like her hurrah, like she was leaving.
Yeah.
God, what do you think she's
going to get? Man. She had a real tough job.
Oh no kidding. But she
defend this.
What do you think? She got to get on TV someplace, right? She's got to get.
She'll be on MSNBC in a week. She'll write a book, get a lot of money for it. Hey, whatever, man. I mean, that's good on her, but
yeah. See, I think there's some like little code or something. Like she always wore in her eye that really thick. There's a line, like a pink line or something like that, right across.
Yeah, it was a little heavy.
I think there's some like Chinese code in there or something like that.
Yeah, it had some kind of significance.
Yeah,
or maybe it was alien. Or she's reptilian. You ever see that? People think that they're reptilian. That they like all these people, Bush and
Trump.
Yeah.
On that topic. So, like we discussed before the show. I did a lot. I hadn't really looked up Tesla very much in the history. His Tesla, going back to the original Tesla, I guess is named after the car, or the car is named after him. He really had some interesting thoughts, right? Like,
so he got into a big battle with, was it Westinghouse? It had to do with AC or DC, direct current, alternating current, and Tesla pretty much figured out a way to power the planet for free.
Oh,
and that's why he died penniless. He died in New York City, penniless. He was basically just about homeless. Yeah, they crushed him because it would have put a lot of people out of business.
Right. Even his thoughts on religion and living and dying. Like he was really there was a quote. There's a quote he had saying, "I don't think you really die because you were really never born. You just were."
Could be. Yeah. I mean, no, he was a brilliant.
Yeah.
He's at a different level.
Yeah.
And you just taking him aside. There's been other people. There was a guy that supposedly invented an engine that would run on water.
Yes.
He died a mysterious death.
Yeah. Yeah.
And again, Tom, like you and I've said many times, 5 years ago, you and I go, nah.
Oh yeah.
It could be.
Absolutely.
After what we've seen over the past 5 years.
I know we've touched on this before, but again, doing my research, going to the moon.
Yeah.
And you believe we did go to the moon?
I question it now because, why didn't we go back?
Right.
And that was 1969, where, you didn't have internet. You didn't have really the computational power that we have now. I mean,
sure.
What you have in your phone would have took up 4 stories in a building.
Right.
So.
Yeah, that is the thing. Like, why did we not? And even stuff like with the flag straight up, with there's no gravity.
And apparently, there's a few times where either Neil Armstrong or Buzz Aldrin kind of slipped and said, "No, we never mind."
Yeah. Now, some people say they show a video of him that is taking it out of context. Like he said the words, but
I want to know how did the cameraman get there before
I know
to see him coming down?
And how did they have the rover? Where did it fit? in the
Yeah, that's
it wasn't that's part to me. It wasn't big enough. Like they think the spaceship wasn't big enough. Here's another one. I was doing a thing, and some very intelligent scientists supposedly believe this, that we could just be a simulation. It could be some kid, some teenager in his basement on a computer, and we're a simulation. We're a game.
There's a lot of thought to that.
Yeah.
Um,
Like even the whole world could be just the Mark Puttenvink world.
Well, it should be.
Well,
one.
yes.
Yes.
But in theory, that's what some people have the theory that
Yeah.
all these other things that are happening only happen when Mark is watching.
Right. Your reality could be your reality.
Yeah.
And it's different for everyone.
Yeah. Because we have this thought, like even whether it's the Big Bang Theory or God's created, okay, in our minds, something had to start. So even if it's a Big Bang Theory, it's a tiny atom. Well, where did the tiny atom come from?
Correct. Yeah, and that's been an age-old question. And for me, especially, even when I was a little kid, I go, well, how could that be? If you have a box and there's nothing in it, you still have the box.
Right. Yes. Yeah.
Right.
Yeah. And then where did God come from? If God created man, right?
Well, if you believe in God, he's been forever and always will be. So I think when it comes to, so you have scientism, which is everything's measurable, right?
Right.
And we base everything on measurement. Really what it boils down to. Then you have atheism, where you just don't believe in any kind of higher power. Then you have religious people. And they all have somewhat of a point of belief.
Yeah, when you listen to their logic, you say, okay, that could make sense. Yeah.
But as far as faith, we get on an airliner, right? We don't know the pilot. Yeah. We don't even question it. We just put faith in him. He's going to get us there. Yeah. Totally. And that's the way I think religious people look at, like it's even to another extent where we're just not equipped to understand. You know,
we're like, even somebody that thinks they're this brilliant person, whether it's Einstein or whatever, well, compared to what's going on there in the universe, if there is, how about carbon dating? That was an interesting topic I read up on this weekend, or I've watched on.
There's a carbon dating website.
At first I was like, well, really? I'm going to look that up. So carbon dating, obviously used to look back in time and say, okay, the Earth has been here, or this formation was formed 8,000 years ago or 10,000. And now people are going, well, it's really not that accurate. I mean, there's just like all these dates about whether the universe and the Earth are millions of years or billions of years old. The religious people believe maybe it's only 8,000 years old.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah. And again, it's all how you interpret scripture.
Yeah.
I mean, if you really read the Bible, the First Testament is pretty violent, pretty scary.
Yeah.
Pretty scary stuff.
Yeah.
And God is a pretty vengeful person or entity, whatever. But again, it's all how you interpret it, right? All the different religions. I mean,
I know. Well, even like I watched the video. They're going and showing all these rock formations around the world that are clearly put together by man, exactly like and they're saying these rock formations are thousands of years old.
Yeah.
But the cutting of the rock is perfect. It's just like,
I mean, there's some thought, and I kind of agree that there's been aliens here before. Some kind. If you look at,
or at least some other kind of human form, right? Is that, or do you?
Oh, yeah, it could have been a higher intelligence that we don't have. I mean, the pyramids. There's no explanation. We can't figure out how they built the pyramids. Even Stonehenge. I mean, they go. We're talking a lot of tons of weight, and they didn't have we couldn't do it now.
Yeah. Somebody, my son actually was reading, and I don't know if he believes it totally or not, but one of the theories is with the pyramids, they built these big, huge aqueducts and floated the stones, but they still need to get them up.
Yeah.
And the perfection, like the way they built them too.
Right. Like, I mean, there's in South America, I don't know if it's Peru, but the Aztecs, excuse me, made these forms that from the sky look like landing strips.
Right.
Yep.
Yeah. There's so much of that stuff. You're like, come on. Like what? Like, I think we're just we think we know, we don't know anything. Yeah.
The more I know, the less I know.
I know. It's like our politicians. Dinosaurs. I definitely believe in dinosaurs. Yes, I think that's.
Yeah, I mean, there's some people that don't believe it.
Oh,
I mean, the fossils kind of show it, I guess. I don't know.
yeah. I guess that's what I'm going off.
They
Well,
find
and they made Jurassic Park, so it must be right. I mean,
it's got to be true.
right.
Yeah. If what was the guy? Dickie Dunn wrote it. It's got to be true.
Dickie Dunn. How about okay? MK Ultra. Is it MK Ultra? Is that the current music? See, I know you've known this for a while. I'm now learning about this stuff. So MK Ultra, I'll put it in my words, is if everybody watches Jason Bourne, it's more training somebody's mind that if they're called and then they give them some code word, it turns them into this other human being, right? So if you watch Jason Bourne, they were wanting to kill him, so they would call agents, call him on the phone. I'll never forget. One guy sitting in an office in a board meeting. They said certain words to him. He changed. You could just see he changed into a different person. He went and tried to kill Jason Bourne. So there's a lot of talk. The CIA is really big into this stuff. And when you see people like the guy that went to the Trump Tower in Vegas and blew up the Tesla, the guy that drove the truck into the people in Vegas, or excuse me, in New Orleans, they think there's a good possibility that they were CIA trained with this MK Ultra.
Very possible. I told you that there's a book called Phenomena, written by Ann Jacobson. I mentioned it numerous times, and you read that. It starts off from the beginning, again, when it was right after World War II. We were heading into the Korean War, and Eisenhower said, well, listen, the old way was diplomacy. If diplomacy didn't work, we go to war. And they wanted to have a third option, and that became really the CIA's assassin program, excuse me, where they assassined foreign leaders that we felt were dangerous to our cause. And the first one was the president of Guatemala. And then it turns out, if you dig deeper into it, there was a company called, I think it was United. Anyhow, it was an American company that controlled probably 90% of Guatemala because it was bananas, right? And that president wanted to kick them out and nationalize it. And the director of the CIA at the time was John Dulles. Well, his brother was the representative for that company. So, it gets a little bit. Yeah, you follow my blind thing.
Yeah. Yeah. I'm watching this. Everybody's coming in. It's like a bunch of strippers there.
What's that?
Looks like a bunch of well-dressed strippers there.
Oh, yeah.
And that's all. But I mean, it's not like, because I think we get this now impression that everybody looks like Nancy Pelosi, and clearly that's not the case in Trump's.
What's her secret to longevity? Because she's banged up.
I think I don't think she's fermented internally. Like she's a lot of alcohol there.
Yeah, I mean, but at what point do you stop needing more money? You're 90, you're 89, 90. I mean,
it's purely ego, right? I'm sure she's so used to getting her rear end kissed.
It's just greed.
Yeah.
It's just pure unadulterated greed.
Yeah, I'm sure the thought of her now going back to a regular life and not flying around in a private jet or limousines, and out comes Hillary and Bill.
Well, that's why.
I wish I just kept. You know what? I wish I just kept the camera on Bill to see who he's staring at.
Oh, it'll come up. You'll see it later on YouTube somewhere.
There's Dana White. He's there too. Oh, that's classic.
Yeah.
And how about Trump's going to make the? I can't remember what they're called. It was Sylvester Stallone,
Mel Gibson, and John Voight.
Yeah, what's their title?
Ambassadors to Hollywood.
Ambassadors to Hollywood.
That's like almost like Hollywood's another country. Well, in many ways it is. Yeah.
Oh, I'll tell you, what's his name? Ever since he got on Joe Rogan, is it Mel Gibson? Yeah, Mel Gibson. Yeah. He's been really out there. People are wanting to hear what he has.
Yeah, he's been for quite a while a staunch anti-Hollywood.
He's
a really religious guy, and everybody understands how left the Hollywood elites have been.
Yeah.
I mean, that's part of this for a long time. I mean, if you go back to even the McCarthy era, which was wrong, McCarthyism was wrong, but they went right out of Hollywood.
Right.
Have you been in the communists? Have you ever, whatever? Yeah.
I remember when I was on Survivor, man, you could tell they were all very careful of what they were saying.
Sure.
Yeah. And my big mouth, I was talking about Trump and everything. And even I found, I was on Saturday night, we were Stephen Matteau and I were there, and we're at this thing called the Chase Lounge, and the fans are coming by getting their pictures taken. They had like a kind of a booth set up where it was like 3 stalls in the locker room.
Yeah.
So people would come by, sit between Steph and I, get pictures. One guy had the MAGA hat on. It was a nice gray hat. And I said, nice hat. So he started doing the dance. I said, come on, let's go do the dance.
Yeah.
And Steph was kind of like, oh God, I don't know if I should.
But see, that's a sad commentary on the world we live in. That we can't really express who we align with.
Yeah, totally.
You know.
Oh, okay. So Obama's here, and Mike Obama, his boyfriend, not there. And she didn't show up at the funeral for Carter either, right?
No.
Right.
Nope. She said it was a scheduling conflict. It was in Hawaii. You know, there's a rumor going around.
Getting a penis erection or deduction?
So, no, there's a rumor that Obama's banging boots with Jennifer Aniston.
Obama was doing what?
Banging boots with Jennifer Aniston. That they're no, I'm not making this up. That's the rumor now that Aniston and Obama are together.
Oh, is that right?
Yeah, that's why Michelle's all in a pissy mood.
Well, but she must have her girlfriend too, right? I mean, like she's.
You know.
So what are the odds? Give me the odds.
Who's going to get fleas first?
Okay, is Michelle Obama really Michael? But is it really a man or woman?
I don't think so. But I don't think so. I think she's just, you know, she is who she is. She's a pretty aggressive woman. She's a big woman. I don't buy into that so much.
Really?
Nah. But
you haven't seen. It's hard to find pictures of her pregnant. You think of that?
Yeah, like, I mean,
but again, I haven't really looked to see where.
I don't know, where would you find that? I mean, those are kind of family stuff, and you know,
and that's before that he was president.
Yeah, and she may not want those pictures out there because she probably didn't feel comfortable. I think sometimes we get a little bit too far with our thoughts in this kind of stuff. But
it is fun though. It is fun.
Yeah, it's interesting for sure. I mean,
him and Jennifer Aniston.
Oh yeah, that makes no sense, but it does. Maybe I mean, Snoop Dogg and Martha Stewart. I mean, you know,
I know. Oh,
he's changed his tune. First time he's MF and Trump, MF. You voted for him, you MM. Now he's playing.
I know.
For Trump.
And there's a few rappers that are going to be there too. I saw.
It just shows you none of these people really have any conviction.
They don't care. Yeah. They just go whichever way is going to make the money. Yeah. Let me see here. Maybe we've been trained to believe that Tom played in the NHL. Perhaps we've all been duped. You're right, Dan. Maybe that's just my world. When you watch my show, sure.
Could be.
Oh, you look at some of the old videos. I do tell people all the time. It's funny. I think I just got so used to making mistakes in my life, and it's actually very healthy. Like I've looked at this, and I look at old games. I think I make a mistake. There was no hesitation. I would just go and run the guy over that I made the mistake.
That's why you were around so long.
Yeah. I say that to kids too. I said, listen, I think it's a great lesson. You're going to make mistakes. Like, don't even think to yourself, no, I need to be perfect. It's not going to happen. Yeah.
I tell you, my son, Sean, I'm not no way equating his hockey to yours, but he broke his leg in training camp, his freshman year of college.
Right.
First game back, we're playing St. Joe's down in Philadelphia. And Sean gets his first shift, and he goes out. He's a left wing. Goes to bump it up the wall. It turned it over, and then he just ran through the guy.
Sure.
And then the coach next to me, the head coach, just goes, "Oh, okay."
Yeah, exactly. Worked out.
Yeah.
Especially when a kid does it over and over like that, you go, "Yeah, all right."
Yeah. It's just almost like you wonder, because I know Sean's going to tell you. I wonder if he did it on purpose just to be able to run.
Yeah. Totally. He just probably said, listen, it's going to happen anyway. So I'm just give it to him.
Get it done now.
We had a young girl coach at girls' high school. She was a forward, and we needed a defenseman. She was a really good skater and everything, aggressive. So we put her back in defense, and she didn't know what she was doing at all. But she was the same way. And she would always come to me, Coach, I'm sorry. I shouldn't have. I said, listen, stop. I said, you play the way you play. Like you always come back and fix it. So don't worry about it. Like, she was so conscientious. I loved it. She was a fantastic coach. She's good.
Well, that's one of the things I think sometimes all coaches, they overcoach. Not all.
Oh, yeah.
But I'm saying a lot of guys get caught up in that overcoaching. Yeah.
Oh, they got a great picture of Barron Trump just towering over everybody, too.
He's 6'9" or something.
Oh, God. It's a great picture.
Can he skate?
Oh, God.
Right? Can he skate? Maybe we put him out there with Rempe.
He could skate. I'm too smart for this. So I'm gonna own the. He's gonna rule the world. He's gonna be the emperor of the world. Yeah. Do you ever get to that point? Isn't that one of the concerns that people? It's one of the theories is that there'll never be an election again. Trump will just take over.
The Bush family twice. I mean,
yeah.
Roosevelt's. It's kind of.
It's hilarious. You'll see it again. But Barron Trump is all these old men and everything. He's towering over everybody. It's just that's funny. Probably every woman in the world is like 18 to 30 is just drooling over him.
Yeah, it'd be a good catch for some women. Yeah. For sure.
Yeah. Oh, he's gonna have a hard time.
But apparently, he really had a big influence on this campaign. Where he was one. No, you got to go on Joe Rogan, Dad. Forget this old legacy stuff. You got to go on Joe Rogan. That's where it's at. Yeah.
Rogan's good now too, right? Oh. How were you ever? Whatever happened? The whole thing with Sean Ryan and the guy he had on about the manifesto and all that.
That story died out too, man.
Yeah. I guess listen, if you're in that world and you want that to go away, you just let it happen. You know the 3-day cycle, so you just let it happen, right?
Yeah, I mean, because there's always going to be something the next day.
Yeah, like the more you try to make a big deal about it, the bigger deal it becomes. Right?
Correct.
Yeah. Yeah, I remember I won't talk about it. I think I've told the story. I had a player who during the summer had done some steroids, and he was trying out for the Olympic team because the NHL at that time didn't test for any steroids. And he was trying out for the Olympic teams. Obviously, they had their rules and regulations. He got caught. So it didn't affect his NHL career really, but it just looked bad.
Yeah.
So they're going to hold a press conference. And I said, listen, the bigger deal we make about this, the bigger deal it becomes. Just acknowledge that you did it. Don't make any excuses. I did it. I should not have done it. I'm going to teach other kids not to do it. And I remember the Player Association called me up. Oh, you're throwing them under the bus. You need to do a bigger thing. I said, no, the bigger deal we make about this. So once he said that the next day, there's nothing about it. The story was done.
I know what it is.
Yeah. And it's funny too. He wasn't even doing it to play better. He looked fantastic. He was just totally jacked. He was on the beach all summer long.
Great kid too.
Yeah, he is. Yeah. I don't mind telling. It's a big story. It's not his story. It's Brian Berard, and you're right. He's a fantastic person, and he laughs about it now too. Yeah.
He's just a really easygoing dude, man.
Yeah. I felt bad for him. He went, he worked so hard to become his dream was to be he wanted to be a great player. First overall pick in the draft.
I mean, the hype on him was real.
Oh yeah, totally. And then when the eye injury came, it was obviously devastating. Just
with Marcel Hossa, I think, right?
Yeah. I'll never forget that. I was watching. It was home. It was a Saturday night. Toronto was up in Ottawa, and Hossa was he was coming out of the offensive zone. Puck got turned over. He was turning to shoot it, kind of turned around, and his stick goes up in the air, hit Brian, which you see that all the time. And the eye is like a socket. So usually you get hit, the eye is protected. Yeah. And he went off, and then all of a sudden he got a call from his mother, and I was like, oh my God. Ugh. Yeah. That was that was the start of a long road for him.
You got to give him credit, man. He didn't give up. He told me he saw kind of shades, gray, shades. And every game he'd get smoked once just because he didn't see the guy.
Yeah, I know. Yeah. He when he came back with the Rangers, Brian Leach was playing him, and they were buddies because he was supposed to be kind of like the young kind of Brian Leach coming up. And he was in practice at Playland, and he was doing some drill, and it really wasn't because of the eye. He got too close to the boards and crashed into the boards, and Leach, it was pretty funny, he yelled, go the other way. Something about his eye or whatever.
Well, I tell you, it was.
Were you there at the time when Brian was there?
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Because Quinn called me, want to know all the. I forget who we traded for him, but
he was free agent. He was a free agent.
Is that what it was? Yeah. I don't know why they called me, but anyhow, so there's a drill I was running on the ice. It was an optional. That's the only reason I was out there. And I was talking to somebody, and Eric Lindros wanted to take a slap shot, and all I remember seeing is the red Bauer, bam, smashes my head. The blood's coming down. So I go in the room, and Rammer's like, because, the dentist would sew you up, but they're like 20 minutes away in White Plains. So Rammer goes, let me try this new sterile glue kind of thing. It's like crazy glue. Worked phenomenally. But Berard, first Eric came in. He goes, I did that. And he starts laughing, keeps going. Yeah. And then Berard came in and said, Rammer, let me sew him up. I was like, you can't even see.
That's funny. That's a good one. I like that. That's funny. All right, we're going to get going here soon because the inauguration. Greg Neal, yeah.
Oh, yeah.
I guess Dave Maloney hit him, right?
I think so. That was in junior it happened, didn't it?
Yeah, and Neal has really made some comments publicly, like Facebook, that he's really mad at Dave. Yeah.
Oh, that happens. What are you going to do? Yeah. I mean, guys swaying, it's just part of the game.
Yeah, I think Dave admits this too. Like he had a little anger issue. Like he was pretty nasty with the stick. So I think I don't know what happened exactly, but all right, inauguration day. Oh man, I know I never really we've talked about this. I think you've helped me to really get into politics a little bit more, like understanding really what's happening. So kind of looking forward to all this.
Should be interesting. I think we're in for a wild ride for a while here yet.
Yeah. Well, and the USA Today said Trump the disruptor, they're saying. And I'm thinking, well, yeah, exactly. We want him.
But, he's really not.
I know.
Think about it. He's trying to calm everything down.
I know. But now he does have that way about him where he's
changed, though.
Yeah, but he can still do the grand.
He'll walk in the room and kick a can over for sure.
Yeah, definitely. All right, brother. Have a great day. Everybody enjoy the inauguration. And hopefully we're all alive. There's no nuclear wars or anything after this. So
if there is, oh well.
I know it's over. And my kids and I were joking around, like, do we ever want to build a bomb shelter? I said, if there's a nuclear war, I want to be under the bomb. I don't want to.
Exactly.
Yeah. All right, brother. We'll see everybody next week.